Greetings, I'm Chappers.
And I'm the captain.
And before we start this incredible video here at Andertons.co.uk, I'd like to apologise for the fact that I'm not Paul Gilbert.
You're not Paul Gilbert?
No. But I should be, in order to play this incredible Paul Gilbert fireman type Ibanez.
I met Paul Gilbert a couple of times ages ago because he used to come across and do clinics for Ibanez, and one clinic that we did had over 600 people came to see it. It was just after the sort of Mr. Big thing had gone mental.
Yeah.
So
this is like, back in the day then?
Yeah, so he was about as big as he's probably been in his sort of, you know, guitar rock hero lifestyle. Hundreds of people turned up. And he did this amazing, amazing, amazing clinic. And then we went for an Indian meal afterwards, and he was the nicest rock star I've ever met ever.
Yeah.
He's a quality dude.
I've met him once, very briefly. He walked past me while I was demonstrating for Orange, which was single-handedly one of the most intimidating experiences of my life, because he went like that, which probably meant, you're shit. But, but everyone I know who knows him, so, like Sammy Colson, says that he's just super, super lovely and nice.
Here's my Paul Gilbert story. Actually, this is the second time he came along, and he was doing the clinic again. And he'd said this time, this is before the event. He'd said to me, look, if any dudes want to get up and jam with me,
yeah,
that's cool. And we have this college in Guildford called the Academy of Contemporary Music, and it hadn't been going very long then. And they were teaching. They had some youngsters there, so they had like guitar players who were like 9 or 10 years old, and then they had another classes who were like 12, 13.
Yeah. And
it went up to the guys who were like 18 who were doing the degree thing. And they had like their best guitar players of each year, if you like. Right. So like 4 kids got to go up and jam with Paul Gilbert.
Does someone think he was a bit tasty then?
So the first kid, he's like 8 or 9 years old or whatever, goes up and he's playing like that. And Paul Gilbert was just like super sympathetic. So all the riffing was kind of like, the kid would play something. And these kids were good, but not like, Paul Gilbert. Yeah. And Paul Gilbert would play something back. Anyway, it got to the dude who was like, he'd been like the best. Sorry, he'd been like the best guitar player in the school.
Yeah.
So I have to put this over here for a second. He came on, and he's like, so he's riffing away, and then all of a sudden, he's playing, and then he starts doing this like crossover double-handed tapping,
right.
and I'm sitting there going, oh my god, what are you doing? It's like you're not really trying to do something that Paul Gilbert...
You're gonna take a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah, it's like, are you really? And Paul Gilbert has just gone, that's how it's going to be, is it? Okay. Like that. And I'm not kidding you, this poor, like, 18... He probably literally just gave up the guitar for that and killed himself. It really was. So, tip for you guys, if you ever get a chance to jam with Paul Gilbert, don't try and show him up, because he will ruin you.
Yeah.
That's just end of story. Anyway, if you're watching this, Paul, and you remember that, I'm sorry again.
So what we'll do is I'm going to play it, Lee's going to play it, B is going to play it, and I think we should all play it kind of in our own unique styles, because this is such a different kind of a guitar. Like, obviously, if you're a Paul Gilbert fan, all you want to do is just shred, alternate picking stuff and do his tunes, and that's cool. But is it a great guitar for people that aren't into his music? It's a signature model, obviously. There are some really cool, different aspects. I know that Paul said that he had to connect with the heart when he's playing it, and
it's an upside-down Iceman, apparently.
It is, which is a very, very cool thing. And the neck feels complete. Well, let's start with the neck. Yeah. Basically, that's a fat neck.
It's a chubber, isn't it?
He has massive hands.
Yeah.
I mean, they are it's like if you shake hands with him, it's like he's wrapping your hand in meat. Jumbo neck. I mean, it's a man's neck. Not that it's uncomfortable, but I've got pretty big hands and it's a big neck. Flat fretboard.
It says in the spec they are single coils, but they're hum cancelling.
Oh, they're hum cancelling single coils.
And apparently they have, like, the magnets are smaller in there, so they have 40% less pull on the string to allow the string to resonate more, but still produce a high gain kind of sound.
Wow.
So
counterintuitively, this is actually the tone knob.
Yeah, that's.
And this is the volume knob, which I was there going, I turned the volume off and it's just darker.
Sorry, if you can still see kind of ripples on the scratch plate, it's just where we haven't taken the cellophane off.
If I just spend an hour just doing that, will it go away? There you go, that's better.
The bridge looks cool as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that does look nice. It's
called something like Tune Tight or Tight Tune is the name of the bridge.
This is definitely a mahogany body.
It is indeed.
And
a three-piece.
Three-piece neck with looks like maple and mahogany.
You know your shit, don't you,
well,
Mr.
no,
C?
I'm just looking at it, and I make guitars.
That is a three-piece neck using 2 pieces of mahogany and 1 piece of maple.
Yes, made in China and comes with Didario strings, 10 gauge. It's a Les Paul scale length, as Lee kindly told me earlier, and it sounds like this. Or like this. Or like this. That's nice. Or like this. Now I'm using a spark on the floor, that's the floor there, and a JVM. And so what I'm using is the spark for a bit of a lead boost, and here's how it sounds with the lead engaged. That's the tone and the volume.
That is going to take some getting used to, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the whole thing is going to take getting used to. I have to say, it grows on you with the feel. What I like about this is that this is very much a signature model, and you can tell that Pablo Gilberto spent a lot of time saying this is exactly what I want, even down to the little change there in the end
to
match
the headstock. Yeah,
tiny
I'll
details.
Here on the thing. On the thing of the thing. Look,
take a look at the
thing.
thing.
The truss rod cover matches the headstock.
Yeah, and even look at that.
Look at that. Where the strap button is.
Yeah, I like that. Just tiny changes that make a big deal, and the whole process. You know, it's important that he's gone through it and made it what he wants it to be.
I need to apologise in advance because the downside of using Handycam is you get to see what an absolute shit dump this room is most of the time. Look at the state of it all. Why is that?
What are you, Lee? What's the problem? I don't understand. What is
just
the problem?
a mess in here?
Anyway, you've heard me play it, and I really like it. You know, it's not the kind of guitar that I think I would buy personally because. Although I love Paul Gilbert's music, it's a very distinctive feel, and it isn't. I'm more of a, for example, I'm more of a, I don't know. I can't say my own brand because that would be a bit weird, wouldn't it? But an ML1 type player.
So you like more traditional?
Yeah, just a more traditional C shape. This is definitely more of a kind of. It feels like a D shape to me personally. Let's see what Lee makes of the Iceman. Paul.
Apparently, you have to wear these or something if you're going to wear Paul Gilbert. I can't hear anything now, so I hope this is good. Is it turned up?
Yeah.
Now, this is chubbier than any of the 50s Les Pauls that we've played all day long. So you're going to have to, you know, this is not for the guy that's thinking, oh, it's Ibanez, it's probably got a super skinny wizard neck on it. It hasn't. Did I mention that the pickups are DiMarzio pickups?
No.
They're not just unbranded.
What,
pickups.
USA DiMarzios?
Yeah, proper DiMarzio pickups.
Oh, wow.
So... And the other thing, back in the day when kind of DVDs and stuff were, you know, DVDs and videos were like the in thing to buy if you wanted to learn, like YouTube didn't exist and stuff like that. Paul Gilbert's rock guitar series of tuition videos were probably like the most informative of all the videos you could buy. And even though he was like because loads of like all the players of his time would do these videos and it would be like, yeah, hi there, my name is and I'm going to play this for you. And now I'm going to play it slowly for you. and you're supposed to like pick that up. Whereas Paul Gilbert would do some like really, really cool stuff. I remember listening to some tips from Paul saying just about rhythmics. And saying, imagine when you're playing your, playing your scales or your solos or whatever like that. Don't, try to avoid just everything go. It was like, try to imagine that you're playing a bass drum and you're just trying to make a more interesting rhythmic pattern. So you play the same stuff, but you might go.
So did Paul Gilbert influence your blues playing then, Lee?
Yeah, so you sit there and go, okay, well that's cool, I'm a guitar player. And I hear, loads of guys that have, that have nailed the scales and everything like that, but haven't worked out that rhythm is kind of, just as critical a part of kind of adding, just the same as dynamics and all that kind of stuff. So
I want to hear you with a game pedal. Play.
It's what is it?
It's a Fireman, buddy.
It's definitely a guitar that I think you should get to your local store, try out, and just decide: is this a beast or is this just something that?
You know what? I think you'd be very different if you played one of those, and also it's another one of those signature models that I think you'd be forgiven for playing and using in your own way.
I think it's probably underground enough. Do you know? I mean, I know we know it's a Paul Gilbert signature model, and
yeah,
I guess
not your average rock.
It's not
and blue.
like the Gem, is
I
it?
listen to a bit of radio. I like what I hear on the radio. They're not going to have a clue what it is.
No. And you are just going to look like you've turned up at a gig with some crazy looking guitar from like the 60s or something where they invented mad shapes.
Yeah. Retails for what money?
It's about $750, so I mean it's it's the top end of what you'd expect to play for a guitar from the Far East.
Does it come in a case or a bag or a...
I'm not sure actually. I'll check the Andertons website. I don't think so is the truth.
Okay.
But
who wants to hear a BM Assad playing it?
Well, should we get someone proper to play?
I think we should do that.
Here's a guy, if we had to challenge Paul Gilbert to a battle, he'd be the guy we'd call in.